Okay, so today we're going to learn about factoring. We're going to learn about like hard problems and easy problems and all different types. Okay, so for this first equation, it's x squared plus 6x minus 7. So what you would do first is you would look at the 7, negative 7, and so you think, okay, what would be multiplied to get negative 7 and add or subtracted to get 6. So then you know that since 7's prime, you know that it has to be 1 and 7. So then you look at this, you're like, okay, so it's 1 and 7, so what makes it positive 6? So you know it's add 7 and minus 1. So once you have this, you have to figure out how to make it, how to find the factors. And so then you do x minus 1 equals 0 and x plus 7 equals 0. And then you would add it over the 1 and then you subtract over the 7, and so it gives you x equals positive 1 and then x equals negative 7. And then those two are your answers. So those are your answers. Okay, so for this next problem, you know that x squared is a perfect square, and so is 16. It's a perfect square. So you would look at these two, and you know that the square root of x squared is just x, and then the square root of 16 is 4. And so then, you know, and then it has to be negative 16, so you make it, and so that's why you have the negative 4. And so the two answers for this one are just negative 4 and 4. And that's all you have to do for that one. Okay, so for this problem, it's more of a harder problem because you have the 4 right there. So you have to take that away. So you look at all these numbers, the 4, the 12, and the 16, and you know that they're all, you can all take 4 away from each one. So you would take a 4 out, and so then you're left with x squared plus 3x minus 4. And then from there, you just do what you normally do. You look what multiplies to get 4 and what adds to get 3. And so the answer would be, and so you have to bring down the 4 again. So it would be x plus 4 and x minus 1 to get you positive 3. And so then you would leave your answer like this because you have the 4 there on the side. So this is one of the hardest problems. So you see that there's a 3 before it, but you know you can't do anything to take it out because 3 won't go out of 8 or 5. They don't have anything in common. So what you do is you come over and you think, okay, so 3 times 5 is 15. So you think what multiplies to get 15 and what adds to get 8, because 8's right there. So you know 3 times 5 is 15, and then 3 plus 5 is 8. So then you come over to your box, and 3x squared, you put 3x squared there, and then the 5 there. And then you get your two new variables that you figured out. So you put 3x over here, and 5x right there. And so then you're going to go up and down to see, okay, 3x plus 5, or 3x and 5, what they have in common is just 1. And so when they're both positive, it would be plus 1. And so then the 3x squared and then the 5x, and all they have in common is an x. And so then you go this way. So you go 3x and then 3x squared, they have a 3x in common. And then the 5x and then the 5, they just have a positive 5 in common. So you put those together, and then this would be your solution. And if you wanted to check your answer to make sure it was correct, you could FOIL this out, and it would give you the exact same thing as up there. So you know that you did it correctly. So now that you have all the different types of problems, we'll just review over some of them. So you have 3x cubed plus 6x squared plus 8. So on this one, it's kind of like the one we did before with the 4. But in this, you can, instead of taking out a 4, you'll take out an x because they all have x's. So you can just take it out an x. So then it changes to x squared plus 6x plus 8. And then this is now just an easier problem. So what multiplies to get 8 and what adds to get 6. So it would be, and you bring down the x again, and so it would be x plus 4 and x plus 2. And then you would leave your answer like this. And so here's another practice problem that you can do. The x squared minus 9. So it's just like the other one we did. And so x is a perfect square and so is 9. So it's just an easy problem. So it'd be x plus 3 and x minus 3. And then since you can solve these, it would be x equals negative 3 and then x equals 3. And that's all you have to do for that one. Those are your two solutions. Okay, we're going to do a problem with higher numbers instead of just easy 9s, 3s, and 6 and stuff. So we'll do x squared plus 10x plus 25. So multiplies 25 and adds to get 10. So thinking on that, you have to figure out that. So you know that 5 times 5 is 25, and 5 plus 5 is 10. So that's all you have to do. It's positive 5, positive 5. So the answer is just x equals negative 5 because they both go to that. Okay, for the last problem, we'll do a hard one. So it'll be 4x squared plus 12x minus 5. Actually, it's going to be plus 5. Sorry, my bad. So on this one, you look at all of them, and you're like, okay, well, 4, 12, and 5 have nothing in common. So we're going to have to come over and do the box method. So what multiplies to get 20, because 5 and 4 is 20, and then adds to get 12. So 10 times 2 is 12. So you do 10 times 2 is 20, and it adds to get 12. So 10 times 2 is 20, and then 10 plus 2 is 12. So then you come over, and you do the box method. So you put 4x squared here, and then your 5 right here. And then you put your two numbers that you just found on the other two spots. So it'll be 10x, because you add the x, and then 2x. So 10 and 5 have 5 in common, and 2 and 4, 2x and then 4x squared have 2x in common. And since both the 10 and the 5 are positive, it would be a positive 5. And then the 4x squared and the 10x have 4x in common. And they have 2x in common. Oops. Okay, so they have 2x in common. And while the 2 and the 5, they only just have 1 in common. But since they're both positive, we have plus 1. So you do 2x plus 5, and then 2x plus 1. And then that would be your answer right there. So I hope this video helped you and taught you how to factor, and see you in class.